Well, I want to welcome JP back to Exopolitics today to give us an update about an encounter he had with a Nordic extraterrestrial just outside of his home a week ago. So, welcome, JP.
How you doing, Doc? I'm glad to be here on Exopolitics and to bring you this information.
Wonderful. So, roughly a week ago, we're talking around February 11, you had an encounter with a Nordic ET outside of your home in Florida. So, why don't you tell us what happened?
Roger. I woke up. This was around 0900, and I saw a flash of light. Like it looked like a light confetti outside the woods. And I looked at it and I saw a figure standing there. And he had a uniform. So I just put on my shoes. Um, I was not with any kind of weapon. I felt peace coming towards the house. So you feel peace, you feel a calm. I saw the wind. There was no movement in the wind. I looked around. There was nobody um, that was looking at me going into the woods. So I went to the back part of my house where I have my swing. I know I took you there before, you know, where I'm talking about. So by that swing, I walked a little bit more down and there's like a creek. There's a little creek there that water flows. And I saw this guy. He was a Nordic being. He was dressed in a uniform, the same uniform that he had in Orlando with that I think we could show people or you can put it there when you have a chance. It had the same it had the same like half moon and the star coming out of it patch on his chest. And I say and I said to him, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Hey, I'm here to bring you more information."
You are listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla, your source for the uncensored truth regarding the human, extraterrestrial, global, and political agenda. Click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And now, here's Dr. Michael Salla.
More information. And I said, "Information about what?" So he got closer to me and I felt peace and he touched my shoulder. And I closed my eyes and it happened similar to what happened in Brazil when I touched the ship. I blacked out. But I started remembering a certain mission. On 2018, I had an experience in Orlando that I took pictures of, and this same Nordic invited me inside the ship, and I denied to go inside the ship because I felt scared that somebody else was looking at me or following me. So I decided not to go. But I remember that in that mission, in that moment, I remember closing my eyes and I was floating inside this ship. And then I came back and then he told me, "Oh, you're back." So right now, in this past experience, in the 11th, he touched my shoulder and I started remembering everything that happened in that particular moment with this Nordic wearing the Air Force looking uniform. Same guy, he haven't aged, he looks the same, same type of haircut. Like if it was it like if I was looking at him the same time, the same time when I first met him. So what I remember, I was inside this beautiful ship. the ship I took the picture of. And this ship was smooth in the inside. In the place I was, I saw these chairs that were slanted back, but nobody was on them. I saw the Nordic floating with me on the side. And I'm like, I look at him and I do like this, like, what's happening? Where are we? Where are we? And he's looking at me. He's like doing like this, like to look outside. And I'm like looking at him. I can't look outside. He said, like, touch the wall. Like, I couldn't understand. He was telepathically communicating with me, but in the same way doing like a sign language, like for me to understand even better of what he was saying. So when we were floating, I saw him floating as well. I'm like, okay, there's no gravity, so I assume we are somewhere in space that there's no gravity. So when I touched the wall of the ship, right? This ship was around, probably by the estimation, it was probably like 40 to 35 feet by 35 feet round. So it was a tight squeeze, but you could still move around, and probably like 12 feet in height. So we can move around. I saw what it looks like a type of console, and I saw a type of hand where you could put your hands. I think that's how you control the ship as well. So I saw a console that had like a hand imprint on it. So it was, I think when you put the hand imprint, the machine itself hugs your hand, and you can control the ship like that. I think the ship connects with yourself, and you connect with the ship, and you have a relationship with the ship. So he tells me to touch the wall, and I start touching the wall, and I start seeing a glow around my hands like this, like a bluish white glow, and then the wall turns transparent. And I'm like, what the heck is this? This is awesome. This is a cool experience. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and he looks surprised. And I'm like, I look surprised as well. So he's copying my facial expressions. And I'm like, are you copying me? He's like, I am, you know, like, what do you feel when you touch the wall? So I felt what I felt also in Brazil. My whole body started vibrating, and I felt a beautiful sensation, and I started feeling like like mm, like a beautiful, beautiful love sensation, like a connection to the ship. And the ship cleared out the wall, and it turned transparent. And then when I like go a little bit more, I see like a planet approaching. And this was a beautiful looking planet. The color of the oceans of this planet was like a light blue. It wasn't like a darkish blue. It looked similar to the blue of when you are looking at the poles, and you look at the water around the poles are like a lighter blue compared to how it is compared to the ocean itself. So when you go in space and you look at Antarctica, or you look at the North Pole, around the Antarctic, you see a lighter color of blue, and that is the flow of the ice that is flowing out that makes it that color, like a lighter, like a smooth lighter blue, similar to the colors that are behind you in the books. So, but I started looking at the continents, and they did not look the same. They did not look like Africa. I think we went around the this planet like 1.5 times, and I did not see South America, North America, Africa. You know, those continents that are normal to see and to realize that it is Earth. So I start looking at the planet, and I'm like, I look at him, and he looks at me, and he says, "Keep looking." So I look, and I keep looking, and in the distance, I see something that looks like our moon, uh, approaching the planet. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "What's going on? What is this?" And he told me that it was the moon. So, in a way, I think he was showing me uh, how Earth received the moon. So I don't know if it was a video of it, but a video of it, or I don't know if it was like a real account, but it looked so real. It's
But you were
so amazing.
seeing another planet, right? I mean, this.
So it is another planet, but he was telling me that it was Earth. So
Okay.
I was confused at first. So I was communicating with him, asking him, "Hey, okay, when you say Earth, are you talking about the planet where I live, or are you calling Earth the name of other planets as well that looks like our planet? So are you saying Earth because of our planet, or are you saying Earth because of another planet?" He did not actually answer me that question. So I was like, "What am I looking at?" And he told me this was the moon approaching Earth. So when I kept looking at it, I saw the moon was different. It was like a metallic color. It looked like a type of massive spaceship. And it did have like the color of what you see now, but it was like a more metallic. You could see metallic coming out of it. And I'm like, "What's going on? What is this?" So he kept saying, "Look." So I saw the moon approaching, and then it started rotating and going around the planet. And we were following it with the ship. And when I looked at the moon approaching, right, it was reflecting something to the earth, and then it was changing the waves. You could see the waves of the earth changing, and I could see like not tsunamis, but I could see the water covering, well, yeah, tsunamis covering certain continents of this world that I was looking at it. And then I kept looking at the Nordic, and he kept looking at me, and he says, like, "Keep looking." So I kept looking, and what happened was when the moon approached the earth, right? It created like a tsunami effect because the moon was really closer to this world or this earth that I was looking at. So I looked at him and I said, like, "Am I looking at the past?" And he's like, he pointed his hand and he's like, "Pay attention and keep looking." So this moon was like a metallic, but you could still see like a type of dirt on it. And it was rotating, and it was shooting like this light towards the earth, and it was creating like dirt from like coming out from different parts of the earth or the planet. And it was like like maneuvering the world and turning it into the continents that we see now. And I was in shock when I was seeing this. So I don't know if I was in the past or he was showing me like a type of remote viewing of what happened, him entering into my brain and connecting with me, or of the past of how the moon entered into the vicinity of Earth.
Okay, so this is a recollection, or you're having total recall that this Nordic triggered you to remember what happened in 2018 in Orlando. That was in May, and you remembered actually going inside the spacecraft. That previously you thought you said no when you asked, but you did go inside, and that you were taken out into space. Then you're able to see through the craft's walls, because you touch the walls and it becomes transparent, and you see a planet. You don't recognize the continents or anything, and then you see a moon coming near the planet, and so you're speculating that that was actually Earth in the past, or it's possible, I guess, that this could be another Earth-like planet where a moon suddenly appears.
It could be either or. But when it was transforming the planet looking like our planet, that's when I realized that I was probably looking at the past. And I asked him, well, why are you showing me this? What do you want me to do with this information? And telepathically communicating with me, he was like, I want you to tell people that the moon was sprung from somewhere else.
Okay, well, that kind of matches some of the ancient historians like Herodotus and a few others talked about pre-lunar civilizations, that there were peoples that remembered the time before the moon. And so, people have speculated that, well, maybe that meant that during the last great flood event, around at the end of the Younger Dryas, around 11,600 years ago, that's when the moon appeared, and it caused a sequence of tsunamis and events, and that led to the end of the Younger Dryas. And so, yes, so that's been a lot of speculation about that moon. So you suspect that this Nordic wanted you to see that, to have knowledge of that.
Then what happened next was even more shocking, Doc. I took my hand out and it turned into a wall. And he looks at me and then he gets on the chair, right? And he puts his hand on the controls and I feel no gravity. I feel nothing. And he does like this to it. And then he looks at me and he does like this again to me. And I'm like, do you want me to touch the wall again? He's like touch the wall. So I touched the wall again and it turned transparent and I see like another planet that look similar to what I just saw, but it already had like a smaller looking moon going around it, but another little one approaching it. And I look at it and I look at the guy and I look at the planet and the planet looked it looked like it had water on it, but the water it didn't have as much water on it. And it looked like a desert planet, similar to what the north of Africa looks like and the north of Australia looks like. But it still had water around it. And I see all these ships, right? All these ships. I see like probably like 40 ships. I was counting by tens. And 40 of these ships were coming out from this planet. And I ask him, which planet is this? And then he says, Mars. And I see a total of 40 ships coming out from this planet. And it's facing these ships. And I look like this, and I look to the back, and I see in the distance a blue speck. And I asked the Nordic, where are these ships going? And he's like, he points to the blue planet that it is Earth. So there was another little moon that I think it's Phobos. It looked like Phobos, that it was approaching the planet. But prior of that moon Phobos, there was two moons. I saw a bigger moon, and then there was a little moon approaching. While that little moon was approaching, these ships were coming out from this other planet that looked like Earth, but it was dried up. And I could see different types of cities on this planet, and you can see a reflection of light, like if these cities were made of glass. And I saw you can see from a distance, you can see similar like not pyramids, but it looked like smooth surfaces that were all over in different spots of this planet. And these 40 ships passed us like if we were invisible, like heading towards Earth. And I'm like, you're showing me the past again. And he's like, yeah. So when that moon was approaching Mars or this other planet, it started turning more like the water of the planet was like disappearing when the other moon approached it. And these ships were like flying out, and then all I saw was like a storm of dust just appearing all over this planet. And this dust was like covering the north and the south part of this planet, and it consumed the whole planet until you could not see the planet no more. And then he looks at me, and he's like, this will be revealed soon. All this that happened. And I closed my eyes, I opened my eyes, and I was back at the creek where he was touching my shoulder. And I said, was this experience that I have, when did I had it? He's like, that first experience in 2018, when he said that you're back and you saw yourself floating. So you had this information in yourself for a long time embedded. And I'm like, I asked him, do you know when this information is going to come out? He's like, this information is going to shock a lot of people. And it's going to change a lot of things about how people should treat each other when they find out that a lot of people are not from here, from Earth.
Okay, so this Mars memory is like you saw the evacuation of Mars before some kind of final catastrophic series of events that made the surface uninhabitable for most of the population. But you saw an exodus, and the exodus, all those ships were going or heading towards the Earth. And that kind of matches a famous CIA remote viewing experiment where Joseph McMoneagle was tasked to look at Mars's civilization prior to its collapse. And he saw, cities, he saw spacecraft, he saw kind of like arc ships, all in different stages of evacuating the planet, and then uh, the planet literally had shed its atmosphere, or the oxygen was somehow vented, and the planet became largely uninhabitable, but the population came to Earth. So I guess, as you said, that these are two events that you witnessed back in 2018. You didn't remember at the time, maybe like the time wasn't right, but now the time is right. And so this Nordic visited you at your home on February 11 to kind of like have this total recall. So now you can talk about those two events.
So I asked him. That's quite interesting, Doc. That about that person that had that vision or about Mars.
Joseph McMonagle, the remote viewer.
Nice. Um, yeah, I've been a little bit shocked a little bit about seeing this, about um I think people would be shocked if they know about this or see about this. How I saw it. It was kind of scary, but it was kind of soothing in the same time, me looking at this because I think we're a species of amnesia, you know?
Mhm.
We forget a lot of things that happened in the past, and I think this is all going to be revealed with different type of technology that's going to help us to the Star Trek future, Doc, and the golden age. So I think this administration, he was telling me that this information might come out in the Trump administration, and to buckle your seatbelts because once this information comes out, there's going to be a lot of communications and a lot of contact with these beings, so-called beings that left.
Okay, so the Nordic was telling you then that there are things that the Trump administration is going to be revealing soon. That includes, the arrival of the moon to Earth, and how that caused certain planetary changes, and then of course the evacuation of Mars before its final catastrophe. That those are incidents that, again, historical incidents that the Trump administration is going to just release at some point.
So, don't you find interesting that I guess Doge is now in charge of the financial system, but it's also the same guy that's gonna go to Mars to land on Mars and also investigate this square shape structure on Mars that was probably from a lost civilization that was living there. Or it could be an entrance of now people working there and interacting with these other beings that work there and all that. So this is the information, Doc, that I got, and he said that also there's gonna be an explosion of developments of health, of good health, of how how we're gonna learn about curing a lot of diseases and all that, and med beds and all that. The med beds, they're gonna come out. I know a lot of people have been asking that question a lot, how the med beds are gonna roll out. But like any other technology, for example, the phone, we had pay phones that we had to travel into the city and call people. And then it turned into cell phones, and then now we have communication like we have right now, face to face, similar to, the future that we know is going to happen. So it's the same thing with the med beds. They're going to roll out with cures, different types of cures, and then they're going to implement these cures into these beds to roll them out. And people are going to be healed
Okay,
and all
so
that. And I think the Nordics are involved also in the development of the AI, of this country. So I think they're putting their minds also with the governments and creating a type of AI that's going to help fast pace different elements, putting different elements together to do healing or to do different technologies as well. So I think the Nordics, they have that type of technology as well, like a type of AI that connects with them and the ships and integrates everything together. So I think that technology is also coming, different ideas coming from the Nordic beings that are working for the militaries of the world.
Now, I know you took some photographs of some lights in the woods. So was that those photographs that you took or video that you took showing some strange pulsating light? Was that of the craft of this particular Nordic from February 11, or was that from another incident?
That was the light from February 11th. I took a video or picture of a capsule that was in a side position, and it was humming. I don't know if you can hear the humming through the video, but I I think that's the one that I told you, and I was in the video that the wind started blowing harder towards me, and it was giving like a humming sensation. You could see different structures of it, but that was at night. That those videos were at night. So I think the contact happened the next day after.
Okay, so we're talking about different kind of events. Like the Nordic, you met him early morning, whereas the lights that you saw, because you said that you just found them on your phone, that you didn't know how they got there.
No, I did not know I got there, and then somebody took it out. I don't know who took it out from my phone. I asked my wife, I asked other people. Nobody messed around with my phone. So I think somebody went into my phone, and I was having a problem with my computer system too. I had a virus, and there's a lot of things that went missing in my computers, a lot of documents that I had. But I know you have all these documents, so we're good to
Mhm.
go.
Okay. Yes, we have all those documents. Now, is there something you want to say about it's possible that later this year you may reveal yourself, that you got the green or you got the go ahead to reveal your identity? Is that something you want to say anything about?
Yeah, yeah. I think the time has come, Doc, for me to reveal my face. So let's go. No. Um, it's gonna be exciting, yeah. I think the time has come, so we're gonna set that up the right way to reveal my face for the protection of my family and my loved ones, and also the protection of you guys, Doc. Um, because I know there's gonna be a lot of people doing research on my background. They're gonna know where it came from. There's gonna a lot of people are gonna be coming out saying that yes, that they know me and all that. So it's gonna be a hectic moment, but I think it's time for people to know my face and feel the vibration of love throughout my my face and facial expressions.
Right, and I know over the last 4 or 5 years, you've sent me a lot of photos of you being in the army and doing different things. So we can release those photos and videos now.
And
Uh,
also release the beautiful base that I'm at, that I think people are gonna be really exciting to know um the
okay,
base
yeah,
where I'm from.
great.
So the base, should we share the name of the base now? Or
That's totally up to you.
all right, we'll wait. We'll wait for that.
Okay, yes,
We'll
let's.
wait. Because
We'll, we'll,
I know once I say the base name, a lot of people are gonna jump on this base.
right. Well, I
Yeah.
did visit that base. My wife and I, Angelica, you took us for a tour around it. So
Let's
we
just say it's the biggest Air Force base in the United States.
okay. All right, that's a big clue right there. Okay, I think people will be able to kind of come up with some guesses for that. So JP has revealed that the base where he was stationed at was actually an Air Force base. and that it's the biggest Air Force base in the United States. So that's interesting right there, that even though JP was enlisted in the Army, he was stationed on an Air Force base. So we now finally know that. And more will be coming out in the weeks and months ahead. So any final words you want to say, JP?
Love, care. Let's stay away from the negative. The negative is our worst enemy. Share the love. Don't put people down. Create a beautiful atmosphere for you and your family. Know what you carry, the complexity of your experiences. Share what you feel from the heart, and let's just work together on this beautiful planet and eliminate the fear porn and eliminate the negative connection with people. So that's why I want to share. We're in this together, and we're here to make a change on this beautiful earth, not to make a change with our relationships that we have with each other. So just put that in mind, and we're all in this together. That's what we need to understand, and to bring the truth, love, and the connection of extraterrestrials with humanity. Akuria mate.
Thank you, JP.
JP out.
You have been listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.